All right. This is MC here for Web3 Talks, and I have a special friend who's from all the way from Miami, the MIA.
Yes.
And she's here in sunny side Dubai. So the reason I brought her here is we finally got a meetup at Singapore. And what's that special event we attended?
Yeah, so we were at Token 2049, 2023. Kind of a lot of numbers going on there, but yeah, it's amazing. I mean, and now we're in Dubai, so excited to be here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hey, look, the reason I brought you here is, I wanted to have kind of like a recap of, hey, what we saw at the event, and definitely I know you have, met a lot of interesting people at that event. So if I understand correctly, Token 2049 is actually the world's biggest Web3 conference, like by far.
I was hearing the same thing, and I did a bit of research, and I believe that's accurate.
Okay.
I was doing the write-up after the event, and many people were saying the same thing. I know it drew over 10,000 attendees this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's an insane number. But I'm pretty sure, who knows, there'll be some other events that'll can compete. But anyways, let's go back to you. So I just want to ask you just to formally introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, so I'm Megan Nyvold. As mentioned, I live in Miami, Florida, and I'm head of brand and PR at BingX, a crypto exchange. A little bit on BingX. They are a crypto exchange with over 5 million users across over 100 countries and regions. So check them out. You find them on Twitter or bingx.com. But back to me, yeah, so I kind of focus on all the media, PR, travel around, connect with traders, people in the industry and all of that. And we're picking up back into events season. So I'm excited that this was kind of the first, it set the bar high, but it was kind of the first event that I've been to this season. I like to call it like conference season because it really picks up around September and October.
No, that's true. Yeah, no, actually, it's quite interesting to see how, to me, Token 2049 has made a big impression on me, and it also made an impression on like other people too. So definitely agree with you. It's set a tone. But I would love for you to share any interesting learnings, because a lot of people are kind of curious about all these big events. They want to know, like, look, hey, what is happening? We see all these exchanges that get together. We see all these different startups, they get together. So there's a lot of great ideas come in, a lot of big presentations. So I'm sure you might have saw something. So anything that has sparked your imagination, caught your attention. So please, spill the beans.
Sure. I think this is also really important to discuss. I was just on Twitter yesterday, and a lot of people were saying, there's a lot of talk about Token 2049, but nobody had really seen a breakdown or somebody recapping it.
Yeah.
So I think this is important. And also, you know how expensive it is for companies and individuals to actually go to these conferences, especially the international ones.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we're kind of shining light on actually what happened there.
Exactly.
I did make a list, actually. There was just so much that happened among 2 days that I had to. Well, you had like some of the best speakers. Really top tier thought leadership there. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And so I went to a few of the panels and keynotes. They were amazing. So I have kind of like a list. I don't want to just riddle them off.
Okay,
but,
cool.
I could kind of touch on some themes that we can discuss.
Sure. Yeah.
And maybe you can speak to also if you saw or disagree with with kind of these topics.
Yeah.
So some huge themes. It is a bear market.
That's true.
But I think there's a lot to be said about the fact that it drew over 10,000 people, over 400 side events, over 300 sponsors. Like the energy was there. And some of the primary topics I saw discussed were crypto as an asset class, which, that's kind of an ongoing theme. Obviously, we're trying to figure out where it fits in among more traditional asset classes that are far more established. Stablecoins to be the driver of institutional and Web2 onboarding from Web2 to Web3.
Right.
I think there's been a lot in the global economy that has shown a real use case for stablecoins.
Oh, totally. Agree. Yeah.
And then, I mean, even in the US, that's kind of been the primary living there and having kind of like a rocky regulatory ecosystem with not a lot of guidance, like stablecoins have kind of stood out. Yeah. And then additionally, this goes a little bit hand in hand, tokenization, real world asset tokenization.
Very popular here. Yeah.
And I think that's more so, there's a lot of buzz around the institutional side of that.
Sure, yeah, good point, yeah.
This is off topic, but I did read a stat that Arthur Hayes' pool party grossed over 4,000 attendees, which, if you think about it, is almost half of the people that attended Token 2049.
Yeah.
So I thought that was just a funny.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting highlight. I tried to get in, but mine was a massive fail. So
I took the taxi over, saw the line, and I took it right back off.
Smart one.
Yeah, my friend Nick and I were like, that is a line that was longer than the conference line. That was So Arthur Hayes, whatever he's doing, I mean.
But, I mean, he is a global icon. So, I mean, he is also controversial too. So, I mean, we had some really great speakers, right? I mean, you got Balaji. He's releasing a book called The Network State. That's interesting. I mean, even also they had a keynote stage for Balaji and also the video call with CZ from Binance. So that was a really interesting stuff. So, but I also agree with you, stablecoins is a big deal in the US, but hey, it's also happening in other parts of the world too. So,
right. Well, yeah. I think that it just kind of touches back to crypto's like one of its main, it really democratizes access, breaking down borders, and stablecoins, like just even transacting. Not as an investment, nothing like that. Just allowing people to transact borderlessly.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so any other important stuff you covered?
People want, let's see. Oh man, I mean, another huge buzz in the US is the Bitcoin ETF application.
Okay,
if that's
been a big talk. That's been a big talk, yeah.
So it was interesting. I mean, I know the narrative would have been totally different had it been either approved or not approved.
Sure, yeah.
We would have been probably having a different discussion right now. But so yeah, that's waiting on that. That's a huge driver of what's next, I should say.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying this is a little bit more Web3, obviously involves crypto, but blockchain is going to be the future for technology infrastructure.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Branching outside of crypto, I think a lot of people saw that. And also it's a little bit of, there was a lot of conversation about how AI and crypto are actually going to fit together. A lot of times AI.
Oh, okay, yeah, I saw a lot of that, yeah.
People are like choosing one or the other, but I don't think it has to be. I'm an AI person or I'm a crypto person. Why can't it be both? I think there's going to be rails that.
Yeah, I would agree too. I see Web3, crypto. I would say Web3 in totality and AI just working together. It's not like a zero-sum game. So.
Right, and I think actually AI has a lot to learn from crypto in terms of actual energy distribution, energy consumption, Bitcoin mining, and how they have kind of created. I mean, it's going to be a little bit different because Bitcoin mining can kind of go on and off for energy demand. But with AI, you can't have these servers kind of turning off when demand is high to save energy or anything like that. So anyways, I think AI actually has a bit to learn from crypto.
Gotcha, yeah.
So anyways, a few more points. The trade-offs of decentralization versus centralization.
Amazing topic.
And also developing infrastructure for both, which is a little bit of a hot topic because most people in this space are just so set on decentralization for everything, which.
Yeah, no, I think our audience also agrees that there's a sort of like a two-side battle with, what's the degree of decentralization really? So Look, I believe it, I love it, but at the same time too, I think, we've been in the marketplace, we're seeing there are some things, okay, we can decentralize, there are some things, I think there has to be some sort of centralization point, but, and it's always like a hot topic, I think pretty much every year, so.
I mean, it's gonna probably continue to be a point of discourse, but I really do, maybe this is not the most controversial take, I think it's going to be a blend of both.
Sure. Yeah.
At least for efficiency and actually, there's kind of, the learning curve of moving people from centralization to decentralization. So, but as you mentioned, that's been a topic, and that's going to continually be a topic.
Right. Yeah.
And then, the role of different jurisdictions in crypto adoption. I thought that was really interesting. I heard a bunch of people.
Right.
This is actually more of a personal topic to me. I mean, not personal. Everybody kind of has their own view on it in the sense of, it's interesting to see how people are actually moving or allocating capital to certain countries or that align with their beliefs. And I think Singapore kind of acts as like a very much a hub of Asia where people can relocate to. Or permanently, temporarily. Like, it's just interesting to see how people are actually moving themselves, belief-driven, that align to places that align with their actual kind of like forecasts of what they want to see.
Yeah, but would you say that because like there's less resistance for capital to move from one place to another? Like, say for example, if you're in Europe or maybe certain parts of America, or I guess in North America, there's all these regulations, but in other countries, it's much more open, there's more vibrancy. So that's kind of like, it's like water, right? It has to, if there's less resistance, it's going to flow there.
For sure. So, I think you and I were speaking about that even at the conference, about how even Dubai just took off like crazy, these past, 3-4 years?
Yeah.
I mean, you would know better than me, but.
True. I agree, yeah.
I've had friends that, I think I had 1 or 2 friends that really just straight up moved here.
Yeah.
And then I was speaking with someone at the conference. They actually surrendered their US citizenship or are in the process to move to Singapore permanently.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Not many people realize how big of a deal it is. So take this as sort of like a sign, bigger things are coming. So
yeah. So I think that also that kind of leads to my final point on putting an emphasis on how the U.S. is actually very behind in regulatory clarity. But I think we have seen that across the board, just with people, how they're acting. I get we're trying to do it correctly and right, but there's just other places that are outshining what the U.S. is, how they're leading and moving forward with digital assets and regulations around them. Yeah,
but I guess a lot is more like regulation side, maybe political and stuff. But I also believe, do you see there's a big cultural shift from the West to the East?
Yeah. I actually enjoy it over here a lot.
All right, okay.
You're talking just from a cultural perspective,
yeah, I mean just
right?
cultural, yeah. I mean, I guess in general, but also Web3 too, because Web3 also has an important role in culture. I feel it has a way of connecting people from all kinds of backgrounds. So
right. And actually, that's something that really draws me to the space is how it does connect people.
Yeah.
So effortlessly. And some of my best and closest friends in the space I've actually met through, online, and then we meet up in person. And it's funny, it feels like you go to these conferences and you're like building a family, even though you see this person like maybe twice a year in various places.
Right. Yeah.
But the actual cultural, as I travel more, the cultural differences are so apparent.
Yeah.
And actually, I think they're for the better outside of the US. I think people are just more respectful, super welcoming. It's just been like eye-opening to travel to like Asia. Now I'm in Dubai. I just love actually kind of experiencing it firsthand. So I actually would push though. Like I think it goes beyond the actual crypto aspect of the conferences, and there is a lot to be learned just from like interacting with people globally.
Yeah.
So I know it's time, money, all of these things that go into actually traveling for these, but I do find it really worth it and rewarding if you can like get to one of them.
Okay, no, that's cool. I gotta ask you. Now, you shared all the kind of give us a whole recap of token 2049. So there are people who are kind of curious. Okay, so should I go for it? Should I not? How would you recommend people? Hey, you got to check out some of these conferences. Not just token 2049. Could be permissionless. in Austin, could be, I don't know, Bitcoin, Amsterdam. You know,
Right.
those are some pretty good events. So, you know.
So it's interesting that there's a lot of very regional events
Yeah.
that are super specialized. So you have like all of the ETHs in.
Yeah, they have it all over the world.
I actually like realized there's so many more than I'm even aware of.
Yeah.
You have the Bitcoin meetups. You have each like L1 has these meetups, and then they also kind of band together. And then they, you know, there's like a week that makes a week out of it. So I didn't even realize Token right before that was like ETH Singapore. So if I would recommend.
Missed that out. Yeah.
I know I would recommend. Like I had no idea it was even going on.
Yeah. That's...
So if you are going to take the time and spend the money to go to one of these, make sure that you double check that there's nothing like there is probably something going on before.
Yeah,
so make
yeah.
sure not to miss either on the front end or the tail end of the actual conference. There's probably more happening. And then I would say it's totally worth it. I started with more regional events. I actually moved to Miami pretty much to chase like the crypto,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Oh, just the scene.
Just the scene. Yeah, there
be
just
more
wasn't-
closer to the industry, I guess.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I was in Denver and it was, I mean, you know, like you said, this industry connects people pretty much borderlessly. Like
Sure.
you could be anywhere and still be involved. But anyways, I just decided to move to Miami for that, you know, check it out. And it's been super rewarding. But I would just say, you know, if you can get beyond where you live locally and go to, you know, maybe one in your country, yes, and even better if you can go internationally. Because like
Alright,
you said,
okay.
it's just as like such an exchange of knowledge.
Not true.
That
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
just industry knowledge, but like just seeing how people think.
No, true. I agree. I have to give a shout out to my buddy Declan. So I mean, I'm sure you met him at one of the in the token event.
Yeah.
So I mean, he has told me, look, you got to check out the token event. You're going to meet some really great people, and he's right about it. I mean, it's actually quite a good connections, and also really interesting founders over there too. So yeah, so just want to give a special thanks to him. But we are about to come to an end, so just one last words of wisdom. I know you've been
Yeah.
the head of media, so you know we have a lot of young people who want to get into media. They want to spread the philosophy of Web3 to the world. So I think media is a great medium to spread that message. So what would be your word of wisdom for someone who wants to get into the media arena?
Yeah, so media encompasses a lot. At least for myself, it includes brand, PR, comms, social. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah,
So
it's quite holistic. Yeah.
kind of choose what actually gets you excited.
All right. Okay. That's good.
I know some people just are like so driven by social. Others are more driven by actual, you know, the more writing side of things, journalism. So I would say like find what suits you. Also, I don't like the preconceived notions that you have to have had a certain background to get into this.
Right.
I think I meet a lot of people that came from every, you know, ends of the earth, all backgrounds, and they've made it really far for themselves, just, you know, following what they actually enjoy. And then what else? I think personal branding is huge also. That would be kind of my big takeaway.
All right.
Just
okay.
kind of build
That's
a personal
good.
brand for yourself. I think that a lot of people value that. It gives a little bit more authenticity to what you do. You know, it's like you can go to these events, and I'm sure you do the same. I mean, you have this podcast, people meet you,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then kind of what you do comes secondary, not in a bad way, but I think it just really makes people connect with the brands you work with and yourself more.
All right. So hey guys, there you have it from the one and only Megan Nyvold, the head of media North America of BingX. So
Yes.
hey, thank you so much for your time. So anyways, fam, and there you have it, fam. We gotta go. So y'all be good, y'all be safe. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.